Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verses 19 through 37. And we're picking up where it says, keep my decrees. So the Lord is speaking. Don't make different kind of animals. Don't plant different kinds of seeds. Don't mix and match different kinds of fabric. And I got to say, the whole idea of not having poly blends, I like. But, again, part of this, all of this chapter really has to do a lot with living in a pagan society and not engaging in the same practices that they do. Now, there's a difference between ritual law and moral law, and we're going to come to that in this passage. The next one talks about sleeping with a female slave, and then later on it talks about not prostituting your daughter. Now, it should just make common sense you don't prostitute your daughter. That's the moral law. Here, I think this, as I read the context, this really is in reference to pagan worship and about prostituting your daughter to be part of fertility rites. And the Lord's saying, no, you won't do that. And, the land will turn to prostitution. And instead, it's followed up immediately by observe my Sabbath and have reverence for my sanctuary instead of revering the other. And, it talks about not turning to mediums and necromancers, going for seances, right? That's down in verse 31. He speaks in verse 26 about not practicing divination and seeking omens. Talks about not cutting your hair or cutting your bodies, which happens to do with pagan death rituals. And all of this is about not engaging in the pagan world, not practicing what they worship. Now, we may not be prostituting our daughter for worship of a god or goddess. But what are the other ways that we prostitute ourselves, sell ourselves out for the powers and principalities of this world? And 5 times in this passage it says, I am the Lord your God. Don't act like this, because I'm the God that you are to be connected to. Not these dead gods and these pagan nations that are being driven out before you. It also speaks, in verse 20, speaks about sleeping with a female slave. It talks about loving the sojourner, honoring the elders, and having just weights and measures. And again, this isn't just ritual law. This is moral law. This is the way you are to behave, because I am the Lord your God. And just because as Christians, the ritual law no longer applies to us, it doesn't mean the moral law doesn't still apply to us. It does. And even in the ritual law, what's the concept? Like when it speaks about not cutting your body or tattooing yourself. Again, if you're cutting your body or tattooing yourself in worship of other things, then that is a form of idolatry. And so the Lord is calling us time and time again, I'm the Lord your God, live with me. Don't live your life for these other forces. Well, hey, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day. If you like what you hear on the Daily Plunge, please share it with other folks. Like it on Facebook or YouTube or whatever you're listening to, and subscribe. Thanks a lot, my friends. Have a blessed day.